Do you need experience to start as an estate agent with IAD?
No, in a nutshell.
Tell me, what are the key factors then that you feel entrepreneurs need to be successful with IAD?
I think you've got to be a doer. I think someone that is, I like lots of theory and I'm just going to collect that and I'm going to be passive and waiting for something to happen. For me, that's going to be a difficult, long journey. So someone that's proactive, and for me, it's someone that's potentially has got some kind of structure and discipline in their life. And that might not necessarily come from, I've been an estate agent, but if they can demonstrate to me that I'm structured, I can actually put a process together, a plan, and I can follow it. And that's lots of different things. That could be through educational journey. I wanted to learn a new language. I'm going on holiday to Spain, France next year. And by the time I get there, I want to be able to talk fluently. If someone can demonstrate to me that actually they've mapped it out, they've committed to a plan, what that says to me is you can commit to something and you'll see it through from start to finish. Likewise, someone that's competitive. And competition isn't all about screaming, shouting and thumping your chest. This is about, I want to do something, I've set myself an end date to do it, and I'll go until I've achieved it. I know there's going to be obstacles along the way, but when they come along, I don't shy away from them. I meet them, I navigate around it. And also, you've got to be a really good communicator. And I think if someone's got those things in their locker, the chances of them actually being good in this industry is quite strong.
Yeah. Because there's so many transferable skills, isn't there, that people can bring to agency. And I think we've seen some fantastic agents that have joined us and started their journey with us from such a wide, varied background.
Very
As
much
we
so.
were talking today about accountants that have come across. We've got doctors that have moved into the property business with us. And there are some fantastic transferable skills. Maybe because I've done it for a long time, I feel like estate agency is the easy bit.
Do you know what? The most underrated skill, right, for me is empathy. Right, that to me is an absolute golden ticket to success. Because actually, the people that have got high degrees of emotional intelligence and empathy are the ones that can really make big connections with customers. And that can come from lots of different previous careers. If I think back to some of the best agents I've ever worked with, probably one of, if not the best, was someone that came from a care home background.
Right.
And that's not an obvious
No, not at all.
swap over. But what made that individual, Carol, so good was actually she'd had the difficult conversations with people about parents in home, taken a fall, turned for the worse and health, potentially lost their lives in the middle of the night. So that empathy of talking to people and actually dealing with high stress situations, that's gold dust.
Because that is the property business as well, right? At times, it can be high stress. Like the reasons that people are moving are not always rosy reasons, right? Not everybody's always upsizing to a bigger home. Sometimes they're downsizing, right? Sometimes there's
finances.
debt involved. Sometimes there's divorce involved, and often there's death involved. And so there are stressful reasons for making these transactions. And actually, your job as an agent remains the same. You need to get them sold and allow them to move to the next phase of their life. But you need to do it slightly differently, dependent upon that situation.
And I think, again, if we go back to communication and listening skills, if I cast my mind back to some of the worst things that I've seen come down to a lack of listening skills. So here was a scenario. I was in a branch. Lady came into the office. She sat down. She was talking to the negotiator. And he asked her why she was moving. And she said, my husband's just passed away. The agent responded, oh, good. Okay, so let's actually sort of find a time. Anyway, the woman sort of came out. And she actually said she lost her husband. Your response was what? I don't know. Well, your response was good. What part of losing your husband's good? And he was like, oh, I didn't know I said that.
No,
so it's again that listening skills. Clearly, it wasn't there. And if I look at that, actually, that's probably someone that probably wasn't particularly well suited to the industry. Lack of empathy, lack of understanding, and clearly not listening to what the customer has said at that high stress moment.
Now let's talk at the beginning of the journey, and obviously that's very much in the work. At the very beginning of that journey, when you choose to become an IAD agent and you start with us, what are some of the skills that people need to focus on in those first 6 weeks?
It's understanding the nature of the business, what you're working with, what likely scenarios you're going to encounter. So one of the first sessions that we do is becoming an IAD property consultant, and that is all of the foundations and the fundamentals that you build on. And that is really knowing your customer to begin with. So understand the reasons why people sell properties. You know, there's probably 5, 6, 7, 8 reasons that they come under. The upsizer, the downsizer, all of those type of things. The relocator, the first timer. There's lots of those type of like characters, but it's actually understanding their emotions, what's actually their fears, their hopes, their expectations, their aspirations. If you can do those kind of things and you do it well, you're on a real good path to sort of like starting off well.
Do you need tenacity?
Yes. You are going to get knocks. You're going to get disappointment. You're going to get upset. And some of it, you can't even predict when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I guess that tenacity of actually knowing that you could have put 3-4 months worth of hard graft into something. And we all do it. We're almost counting our commission before we've got it.
Yeah.
And then something happens, buyer, seller says, all over, not for me, I'm staying put. So that resilience to actually handle that without wilting, yeah, very much so.
So you feel with IAD, joining from outside the industry, having never done a estate agency before, do you think that's something that you'd recommend to most people?
No, not to most, but I think you've got to have some ethical input into this. Actually, are we bringing someone on that has got zero chance of success? If the answer is yes to that, then I think you've got to look in the mirror. But I think if you explain the circumstances to someone about the ups, the downs, the typical things that people experience, the fluctuations of earning, so the reality is, for me, you probably need a minimum of 9 to 12 months supporting salary behind you. Because if you've not got it, how on earth are you actually going to pay the bills? And that puts different pressures on you. And I guess, when you're under pressure, maybe you make compromised decisions. You short circuit stuff. You don't do the job the right way. So I think you just got to be honest. And I think, if people have got some fundamental core skills that anyone can have, can you be successful? Yeah, of course you can. But someone that's coming into it for the first time, their journey to success might just be a little bit longer than someone that's got 3, 4, 5, 6 years experience behind them.
And that sort of money that people need to have around them in order to support them on this journey, do you see that as part of the investment in the whole process of starting this
Very
business?
much so. So I guess, the type of model that we run is low start-up costs. So you haven't got to invest 60, 80, 100,000, 200,000 in premises and equipment, but actually what you've got to make an investment in, I've got enough money behind me to put food on the table, pay my bills, and potentially invest in some marketing material that's going to help me power my business.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Well, look, I think there's some great things to cover off there that might be out there as people's questions as to whether they should, whether they shouldn't, and why they should consider this as an option. And I think we were talking about it earlier, but one of the reasons that we allow this sort of open to all model for the right people, you never know who's going to come in and succeed.
Yep.
And you come in with the right attitude and you've got the bit between your teeth and you're going to take this on and build a network, then who are we to stop you?
Lee, attitude is everything. I would rather take on someone and give them an opportunity that's got an absolute golden attitude, as opposed to someone that says, yeah, look, I've done this for like many, many years. I know what I'm doing, but perhaps their attitude isn't right. Someone with the right attitude and mindset, for me, the door has always got to be open for.
Absolutely. Agreed. Thanks, Jace.